Okay, so I've restarted my computer, and now to launch Deskview, if you just go back to the website, what you'll find is that you can't launch it directly from the website anymore. So what you need to do on a Windows computer, you can go to, it shows up under V in my start window, the VMware Horizon client. Otherwise, if I couldn't find that, if I were to just start typing, it should come up in a search. Either way, if you click on the Horizon client, then the first thing you need to do is add a server. And this is just the name. Oh, let's maybe double click of the link to the that we used for the website. So it's just deskview.wabash.edu. Okay, and then now you can use your Wabash credentials. And then, so type in your name and password or username, just, omit the @Wabash part. Password, see if that goes. Okay. So at that point, you should see the option to now start a Wabash virtual computer. The default is it will launch in full screen mode. That's fine. This part can get a little slow. So you might even try and get this started before an exam just to make sure you're ready to go. And I just moved my mouse a little bit to see if that would get rid of the black screen. Okay, do you want to share removable storage and local files when using remote desktops and applications? You may want to do this if you are going to need access to files that are on your computer. I'm going to go ahead and hit allow. But I would suggest that any files you need, I would just put them in Box. And so what I'm going to do is log into Box Drive. Maybe. Oh, there we go. And you will find this is maybe not as fast as we would like. But usually you won't need to do too much, or for an exam, too many fancy analyses. And we'll stay signed in, doesn't really matter for the Box Drive. Okay, so now I'm logged into Box. I've got access to all of my Box files. And so if I'd saved a data set, it'll be in there. Okay. So to launch SPSS, it's under IBM statistics. So that comes up right away in the Windows machine. And so if you click on IBM SPSS statistics, this can be a slow process as well. Maybe while that's going, I might, oh, it may not let me do anything else. Okay, maybe we don't get too fancy. So I just shrunk that down for a second. And what I'm going to do now, structure, wait, it's not. Oh, okay, on this machine, I haven't gone into Canvas. Okay, so let's say I want to pull a data set down that our seniors are using for comps. And I wanted to take this extra version data set and put it somewhere. I'm going to put it in my box folder. Oh, which I haven't turned on here. All right. So let's say so normally on my own machine, this is a laptop. Normally on my own machine, I would already be logged into Box Drive because I'm not a monster. But on this one, not quite there yet. Okay. All right, so, and then I usually keep all my files here. So I might throw that. I might take this now, this extra version data set, and I'll save it in Box. And I'm just going to save it in my kind of personal root directory. So not good practice. I would suggest having a folder for the course and the exam, but this will work for this demonstration. So now that's in Box. Okay, so I've moved back to the actual computer I'm on. I'm going to go back to the virtual desktop. And now SPSS has loaded. So what I'm going to do is close this launcher, and I'm going to go open a data set. And the default is you start in the Documents folder. So I'm going to navigate to Box. And then in my folder, Torbert N, I can now see the extra version file that I saved to Box. So if I hit open, you'll see kind of the normal output where, okay, there we go. So we've got our data set. And if you go back and look at the description, I believe we had a drug that was being administered and we were looking at extroversion scores. And so now I could proceed with my analysis. So at this point now, SPSS should run, like we would if we were using it on our local computer if it were installed. It'll be a little slower. Graphing is a little slower. You do want to save your work pretty regularly because, like our computer lab computers, if this virtual desktop shuts down, you'll lose all your work. And in this case, if we have a bad internet connection and we lose our connection to Deskview, then you'll lose your work as well. So I would suggest saving your work periodically. I would also suggest that if you do an analysis, that if you want to save it to look at it later, I suggest saving it. So if I were to look at, I don't know, maybe if I was going to do an error bar plot, simple, and I wanted to plot, dose as my category and extroversion score as my dependent variable, and not do anything else too fancy. So this would be a nice representation that suggests that the 500 milligram dose, that those individuals have a lower extroversion score than the placebo and the 1500. We'd want to do some stats to check to see if that's the case. But that would be my impression just from this quick analysis. If I wanted to save that, I can save this output like as a SPSS file, but they're really hard to use without opening SPSS again. So I would say if you want to save your output, I would suggest printing it as a PDF. And then I'll just save this in that same folder. And then now I'll have a record and I can go back and look at that on any device instead of needing to open SPSS again. So, all right. So at that point, hopefully you're able to use SPSS on Deskview and kind of can see how to take files from your local computer and make them available. I used Box for that here. Since we made the local drives accessible, not sure where those come up then. Let's see. Yeah, there is a way to do it. Yeah, okay. Honestly, if I were you, I would just use Box Drive. You can also, I could have also logged into Canvas on this virtual machine and then downloaded the files to the virtual machine. But it is good practice to manage that work in Box because then it's available to you anywhere you can access Box. So, and it's backed up. So when you save it, it'll be saved on their servers and it's much harder to lose. So, all right. Let me know if you're in problems and good luck.